Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations. Much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. This is your brother Chaim Apash coming at you with another lesson. And this lesson is going to be entitled, Be Prepared to Die for This Truth. Be prepared to die for this truth, because we're coming into very serious times and the accuser is clearly working, and he's going to set up the scenario where he's justified in putting people to death, okay, for certain ideologies and thought processes, okay, people that don't want to get down with his system, that doesn't have his way of thinking, okay? Those people are getting ready to be put to death, getting ready to be ousted, all right? And we're at the forefront of that, right? The men of the Lord, okay? If you've been paying attention, if you've been watching the videos, you understand that the men of the Lord are the main target for these propagandas. I'll say it that way. So, right here you have the shooter, the alleged shooter to the Austin situation here, okay, which is in Texas. And this whole situation is completely tacky. And tacky is the correct word to use. I looked at the definition. And you go to the second definition. This is what we want. It says showing poor taste and quality. Okay, this is a very poor quality psychic operation. Very, very poor quality. And Esau has been getting worse and worse with his psychic operations. His last decent one was 911. Okay, that scenario. That was his last decent one with the towers. After that, it's gotten worse, especially after 2008. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play this video. All right. I want to play Fox because, Fox, the people that watch Fox and that are all into Fox are a bunch of zombies. So let's play this.
I have some breaking news. I want to bring this in now. I've been telling everybody about the Austin mass shooter, and now we have a picture. And this is what we're finding out. Per multiple federal law enforcement sources to our own Bill Malusian, the Austin mass shooter is a 53-year-old natural.
And notice his shirt, his sweater says property of Allah. And guess what he had under that shirt? Guess the shirt that he had under it. Well, it said it had the Iranian flag on it. You cannot make this up. Okay, you cannot make this up. So we're going to go ahead and continue this.
Naturalized U.S. citizen who was born in Senegal and was living in Pflugerville, Texas. Material recovered from his person and inside the vehicle give possible indications of a nexus to terrorism, as the FBI announced earlier today. And remember what we said he had in his possession and was also wearing. The shooter was wearing clothing that said Allah on it. His sweater said property of Allah. And there's also known to be an undershirt with an Iranian flag and other materials inside. And remember what Representative Michael McCall of Texas just told me last hour. He said, Harris, in my own backyard, just last night, we had an event that possibly could have been terror-inspired right here in Austin, Texas. This is what he was talking about. Brett, I was reminding Americans this is not a new place for us to be in terms of keeping our heads on a swivel. But it bears repeating, we've lost Americans in the fight on the battlefield, and protecting the homeland now is also something that we must be on the alert. Now, authorities have not tied.
Who are they going to be protecting the homeland from you so-called American citizens? Okay, they said he was naturalized. Let's look up this word naturalized and see what that means. Okay. Type in naturalized citizen, because right, the next play was what? was to hone in more on the homegrown terror. Okay, this is a naturalized citizen is a person born in another country who voluntarily acquires citizenship of a new country through a formal legal process. So he was a legal citizen. So it's not just about the um the illegal immigrants like they were trying to push to you before. Now, even with ICE, you see that they were going after also people that were actually U.S. citizens. So it doesn't matter about that, okay? And eventually, it doesn't matter if you're born there or if you've been there, your family has been there from generations since the colonies. That's not going to matter. If you're whether you're Native American, that's not going to matter. ICE told the Gadites, the so-called Native Americans, that he's coming for them. They're coming for them next. So it's not about that. It's deeper than what they're telling you. Okay. And it all goes back to them setting up their new world order. Okay. And coming after the men of the Lord. Okay. And any of you people that are not down with their program. So he was a so-called naturalized citizen who had a Property of Allah shirt on. And under that had an Iranian flag, which makes no sense. Why? Because all Muslims, what you have to understand is all these Muslims, which we're not Muslims, we have nothing to do with Muslims. We don't care about Muslims. Okay? Even though Esau tried to tie us to Muslims, and you got stupid Israelite camps that are actually linking up with Muslims. Matter of fact, let me type something. Show you that these Israelite camps, most of them have no wisdom at all, man. Okay, let's go to Proverbs. Proverbs 22 and verse 3. It says, "A prudent man foreseeth the evil." See, we were telling you about the evil before it came. We were foreseeing the evil. Okay, and hideth himself. But the simple pass on and are punished. So they're simple. Okay, and they're going to be caught up in these different things that Esau has set up because they're not watching. They're not truly watching. Okay, we're constantly watching. Okay, like the elder Apostle says, if you miss a day, you miss a lot. So I don't know how you can go a week without making a video or 2 weeks without making a video. There's so much things to do. There's so much videos to make. Okay, so right. So at the end of the day, right, you should understand that that Esau is making a move. So you linking up with Islam and all that shows me that these guys, there's a lot of paid agents out there. A lot of paid agents out there, man. All right. Let's continue and hear what these actors are saying.
This Austin situation to what's happening in the Middle East as terror related to that, but they are investigating it just moments ago, confirming as a possible terror attack. Your reaction?
Well, we have to remain vigilant. I mean, Khamenei, he was a religious figure. We don't know if this attack was associated, but it very well may be. But the fact is,
it makes no sense for it to be associated because they said he's from Senegal. The Senegalese, right? They're a different faction of Muslim than these ones. The Senegalese they have Sunni Muslims. He was was it Shi? What are the different factions of Muslims? Different types. Okay, let's do this. Muslim type in Iran. Let's see this. Let's see what it says here. It says overwhelming Muslim, approximately 90%. Shia. He's the Shia Muslims. Those are Sunni, okay, and they're really they don't like each other. Okay, they war with each other. They don't get along. Okay, so what's happening? Get rid of that just in case Esau says, "See, he was looking up." No, you gotta be careful sometimes, man. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? They don't get along, so it doesn't make sense for them to have a damn Iranian shirt on. Okay, so hey, you have to identify that this is all a psychic operation. It was done on what? On 6th Street. On 6th Street, right? Esau also deals with numerology. Okay, numerology. So, like I said, this is all to what? For the accuser of the brethren to come down. Okay, matter of fact, let's type that in Revelations 12, verse 12. We're going to get that. It's Revelations 12 and 12. It says, matter of fact, verse 12 and 10, excuse me. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto the death. See, that's the thing. So we're going to overcome them through the blood of Yahweh Shai. We're going to overcome them through our faith in Yahweh Shai. Okay? And the fact that we were out there testifying his word until the end, guess what? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is going to protect his men. Okay? All right? He's gonna also show his men that he's with them through spiritual powers, spiritual things that are going to happen. Okay? Sending angels to certain brothers and whatever the case may be. All right? But also, okay, many brothers, or certain, I won't say many, I'll say some brothers will have to be martyrs. Okay, so you have to be prepared for that. Okay, and that's why it says, and they love not their lives unto the death. If you love your life, you're not going to give up your life for Yahweh Shai. Okay, so you have to understand what type of thing that you're involved in, man. This is very serious, man. This is very, very serious. This is Revelations 12 and 12. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens. And you have to understand that it's just a transition. Okay, if we're put to death, we're just transitioning from this realm to the spiritual realm. That's it. That's it. That's all. Okay, and when we're up there in the spiritual realm, we're just waiting to come down and have fun. Okay, have fun. You know, as the scriptures say that those fishers are going to turn into hunters. Okay, this is Revelations 12 and 12. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Okay, Esau knows he has a short time. He knows his time is almost up. Okay, why is it almost up? Because the Heavenly Father gave him a particular time limit. Okay, all right, and all these signs that we're seeing are signs that his time is up. One of the major signs that his time was up was the men of the Lord out here in droves prophesying this word. So guess what? He's getting ready to come down with great wrath. Okay, great wrath. Okay, and certain things that you say is going to be used against you. Okay. Okay. This is Isaiah 29 and 21. I'll start at 20. It says, for the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. Okay, and that's what Esau is doing. He's watching to see you slip according to his rules and regulations, according to his penal code. Right? That make a man an offender for a word. And what they're signing into legislation is that when you say certain things, when you have certain thought processes, and especially if you say certain things, you have broken the law. When you speak against the small heads, you have broken the law. This is where we're coming to. Right here in Canada, they're getting ready to pass a bill that states that if you read certain Bible passages that are hateful, you will be going to jail. Okay, you can be charged and put in jail. Okay, so we know that those type of things are getting ready to be passed. It's not passed yet. All right, I've seen brothers say that it was passed. It's not passed yet, but we know those type of things will be passed. Okay, scriptures speak about the famine of the word. Okay, whatever they can use to come against the men of the Lord, they will use it. All right. and it will be tacky, okay? It will be very tacky as well. And turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob, Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale. And we have nothing to be ashamed of, Akim, because we're doing the right thing. Okay, we're preaching the word, we're telling the truth, we're not lying. Okay, we're not doing this for vain glory, we're doing this, for mercy of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. Okay, so we have nothing to be ashamed of, man. All right, we ain't attack nobody. We're not planning on attacking nobody. Okay, we're just waiting for Yahweh Shai to come back. And if these devils believe that Yahweh Shai is not coming back, why are they so worried? Why are they scrambling so much? This is Revelations 2:10. It says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison." The devil's the Edomites. These are a bunch of devils, man. If you know their thought process and the things they're trying to do, you have nothing. You can come to no other conclusion that these people are the devil. That ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days, right? Which means a perfect amount of time. You're gonna have to go through that tribulation to prove yourself to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay, through that fire. And there's gonna be many brothers you think are brothers that are gonna fold. That are gonna fold, man. All right. So if you can't make it through the proven grounds of just just being out there on the highways and the byways and doing 3 videos a week, and who's to say how the hell you gonna make it through this? You know what I'm saying? You catch a little hell and you're ready to throw in the towel. How are you gonna make it through what's coming? That ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Okay, so you got to be faithful unto death, man. You got to be faithful unto death, man. Okay, and that's where the crown of life comes in. And Paul was speaking about that. He was speaking about his coronation. Okay, he said, "I'm ready to go. A crown is laid up before me." Matter of fact, see. Right, this is 2 Timothy's 4 and verse 6. It says, "For I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand." And who is he being offered for? He's being offered for Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. As what? As a sacrifice. Okay? You see? It says, "I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith." So you got to fight a good fight. Okay? You don't want to be lukewarm. You want to fight to stay in this truth, man. "I have finished my course." And then you got to do it to the end. Okay? You can't stop right at the end. You can't stop almost to the end. No, you got to go all the way through, and you have to keep the faith. It says, "I have kept the faith." Okay? And there's certain signs that your faith is low, and your faith needs to be refueled. Okay? You see? And if your faith is low, you need to pray to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, and you need to do the things which Yahweh Shai said to do. Okay? It's not just sending up the prayers and then just la-di-da-di-da going about your day. No, sending up them prayers and then you do the things which you need to do. "Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day." Okay, so he's speaking about the crown, the coronation ceremony. It's written about in 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, man. "And not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing." That's going to be the greatest concert, the greatest ceremony, the greatest event that has ever been in the earth henceforth. Okay, the coronation, man. My goodness. You could just imagine, you know? So hey, let's go to this now. I want to go to something else. I could get Revelations 20, but before I get Revelations 20, I want to go here because remember, you have to remember that Trump made a statement a few years ago about bringing back certain methods of death. You know, when the scriptures speak about how the elect are going to be beheaded, right, for not taking the mark, right? So let's play some of this. I didn't listen to this, but I seen the title, right? And we're going to see what he says, because you read it, you read the title, you ready get the gist, right, of what's going on. It says Trump's death penalty expansion plan includes hanging, guillotines, and public execution. And this is before he came into office. And this is going to be used, these methods of execution, especially the guillotine, is going to be used even on you American citizens. All right? So let's go ahead and play this. Trump barbaric IDs. Let's play this.
Help the American people in the event he's able to win a second term. Instead, he is cooking up new and creative ways to kill American citizens if he's elected again. Literally. So this isn't the first report that we've gotten about his authoritarian plans for a second term, but basically he wants to expand the death penalty, bring back arguably more barbaric ways to kill Americans, and on top of that, possibly make public executions a thing comparable to Saudi Arabia, perhaps. It's deeply chilling, but I mean, it's not surprising because this is Donald Trump who we're talking about. So the story comes from Rolling Stone magazine, who spoke with 3 sources close to Trump on the condition of anonymity. And here's what they say. Quote,
"Did you know Square One pays out on over 90% of submitted home insurance claims? Visit squareone.ca now."
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is Base 44. This is a first look at the current industry-leading AI app builder, and you wouldn't believe
the former president, if reelected, is still committed to expanding the use of the federal death penalty and bringing back banned methods of execution, the sources say. He has even, one of the sources recount.
It says if reelected. Well, we know who's in office now. He's in office. This was 3 years ago, okay? So he's in office. He said he vowed to do this. So listen up.
Of execution, the sources say. He has even, one of the sources close to Trump on the condition of anonymity. And here's what they say. Quote, "The former president, if reelected, is still committed to expanding the use of the federal death penalty and bringing back banned methods of execution," the sources say. He has even, one of the sources recounts, mused about television footage of executions, including showing condemned prisoners in the final moments of their lives. Specifically, Trump has talked about bringing back death by firing squad, by hanging, and according to 2 of the sources, possibly even by guillotine. He has also, sources say, discussed group executions. Trump has floated these ideas while discussing planned campaign rhetoric and policy desires, as well as his disdain for President Biden's approach to crime. In at least one instance late last year, according to the third source, who has direct knowledge of the matter, Trump privately mused about the possibility of creating a flashy government-backed video ad campaign that would accompany
So Salaki, going back to what they said before, they mentioned it being televised, being on television. So hey, so don't be surprised, you know, if they bring brothers up to be executed and it's public, it's put on TV, man. Okay.
A federal revival of these execution methods. In Trump's vision, these videos would include footage from these new executions, if not from the exact moments of death. The former president believes this would help put the fear of God into violent criminals, this source says. He wanted to do some of these things when he was in office, but for whatever reasons, didn't have the chance. Interesting. So, based on that, it seems logical to deduce that he's very heavily leaning towards public executions as a form of deterrent. In the same way that Saudi Arabia, for example, uses public executions to deter against political opponents doing disloyal things, as one Saudi exile says the regime does. Now, what I find hilarious about this story is that He's denying this. His campaign is calling this fake news when his Justice Department quite literally moved to expand execution methods for federal inmates on death row. So after his administration tried to expand the methods within which the state kills federal inmates, and also expedited their deaths, by the way, he's saying, no, we wouldn't want to do this. But your administration tried to bring back firing squad, so why should we not believe that you would do that again? And it's not just firing squad, to be clear. It's also guillotines and hanging and group executions and doing it in a very public way, which makes it really deranged. Now,
yeah, well, that's going to instill fear into the rest of the people. Okay, and that's all biblical. Okay, when it comes to the guillotine part, that's the part that I wanted. You say you mentioned guillotine, right? This is Revelations 20:4. It says, and I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua and for the word of the Most High, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. So the ones that didn't receive the mark, and these camps are not even honing in on the mark. I'm not speaking about the mark a lot because they don't really have they don't have the correct breakdown, right? So they're not speaking about the mark, and this is very important. Okay, this is a very key point of salvation. If you take the mark, you're not going to be delivered, and there's no repentance from taking the mark. Once you take the mark, you've made a decision. Okay, you've made that decision, man. All right, because they're gonna let you know, and the word is out. Okay, about what the mark of the beast is. So when you take that mark, it's a conscious decision that you're making. Okay, and it says, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received, right? In the past tense, when you received it and took it out, the elect is not going to receive it. Neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. Okay, right or left hand. And they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years. Okay, that's that first 1,000-year reign, right? To get everything in proper order. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, death is something that is part of this truth. Okay, death is something that's part of the contract, possibly. If the Lord wants you to glorify him in that way. Okay. Let's go to Revelations 13, right? Revelations 13, and I'll read at verse 15. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Okay. And how are you going to fully worship the image of the beast? By taking that mark. Okay. And everything in the system is going to be governed by AI. Okay. All right. That's why when Trump got into office, who did he have with him? He had Larry Ellison and all them technocrats. Okay, Elon Musk, and he kept pushing those AI data centers. All right, because he's getting prepared for the new system, and he causeth all both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. If you don't have that microchip, you're not going to be able to buy, nor are you going to be able to sell. You're not going to be able to live. You're not going to be able to pay rent. You're not going to be able to pay your electric bill. You're not going to be able to buy food at the grocery store, so on and so forth. This is what they're preparing for. Really, all they need is an event, okay, a big enough event to justify bringing in the whole new system, okay, by force, okay. So, Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect. I want to give all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Hakwadash. That belongs to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations, much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. Shalom.